Welcome back. It is Inktober day 10, and I'm going to do, well, today's prompt is sweep. So I kind of took some liberties with it, which is kind of the point, right? And decided on a guitar player sweeping through the string, since I am a guitar player myself and I like to do the sweepies. So I grabbed a reference that I think is pretty cool, and then I'm gonna get to it and shut the hell up. No, I'm gonna go ahead and think I'm gonna try using the blue ink this time, and just because. Let's get it. No, this has nothing to do with anything, but the light that I had before that I had bought, it was a piece, so I took it back. The Impress art, I need to make an update about that. It just didn't do a very good job. And then likewise, this thing that we use for my wife's shows is fine for a regular stand-up ring light, but when you try to turn it on an angle like this is meant to do, it's a Bauer light that I think we got from Walmart. The Impress art we got from Hobby Lobby, so apparently this stuff is just crap anymore. I mean, you can't just buy anything that works. It just, this thing, the ring is way too heavy, and so right now it's on almost like a 15-degree angle, and so I've had to turn the phone to accommodate for it, which kind of works because the light isn't directly aimed at the paper, I guess, and it's not as sheer, or I mean not as shiny, so I guess that's kind of an advantage. But other than that, you just want stuff to work the way it should work. I don't know. First world problems, whatever. Okay then. So for this then, I'm going to do a guy playing guitar, and he's in a sweeping position, so when you sweep, your pick tends to be angled opposite the direction that you're pushing this pick through the strings so that it doesn't get caught, and it kind of glides across the strings, and it's called sweeping because it's a sweeping motion. It's almost as if you were sweeping the floor, like sort of like, if you were sweeping a brush back and forth or a broom on the floor. It's a similar kind of action. Your hand goes down as you go down the strings, and then as you come back up towards the ceiling, you go the other direction. So, and that's exaggerating so you can see the motion. So when he's doing it now, his hand's sort of like this. So that's what I'm going to try to draw. And then I think I'm going to have to embellish the guitar a little bit because you can't really see his guitar. I might just use mine. And since it is blue, I have lots of colors guitars. I have a green one, and I have a fluorescent yellow one, and I used to have a black one. Actually, I've had a lot of different guitars. We have a pink one that's not mine, it's my wife's. And then I have the blue one, which is my Schecter 7-string, and I very much like it. Okay. So I'm going to try to just get in here and do the meat of his hand first rather than the guitar maybe. Yeah, I think I'll do his hand first, and I can just work the guitar around it a little bit. Just like the placement of the stuff like I usually do. So his hand's going to be coming down. I'll do it kind of big, I guess, like his thumb here and his forefinger, his index, and guitar pick is in here. Yeah, see his finger's kind of at a pretty extreme angle down a little bit. That's what I really like about this pencil. It's very forgiving whenever I, I'm doing construction drawing or, doing this under drawing thing. I'm less likely to dig too hard, and then I can always readjust very easily. Sort of the meat of his thumb underneath here too. I'm going to have to take the liberties on the wrist. That's pretty cool. And then his bottom finger is right there. You can't really quite see his fingers. Yeah, his knuckle is here. I'm gonna just push this one out. There's different ways that people like to play guitar when they're picking. Sometimes people will sort of like their finger will float away from the guitar, or they'll do more like a fisted kind of thing. Like when you're holding your pick, you kind of do this, or some people will do this. And so I'm kind of in the middle. I don't do like a really tight fist. I kind of keep my hand loose, but it's still depending on what I'm doing. If I'm shredding really, really fast, I'll do that. If I'm playing something where I pick a lot, my hand tends to loosen up, because sometimes I'll use pick and finger, or I won't even use my pick at all. So it just depends on what I'm doing. But his is actually quite a bit like mine from what I can see. This is actually a little bit straighter than what I've drawn at. There we go. Okay. That was a little bit too extreme. So yeah, he might actually be putting his fingers on the fretboard. It's really kind of hard to tell from this angle. I'm just going to assume he's doing something like that. And it's okay though, because I'm just going to shade that out. Yeah, you can kind of see his hand reflecting off of the guitar here. I'm having to wing that myself. So in this reference, he has his hand, it looks like there's a reflection of his hand here on the guitar. And so I'm just going to rock that. And then the string, he's kind of sitting on the string like this here at the point of his pick. And also these strings are vibrating, which is really cool. I don't know how I'm going to try to approach that, but I think what I'm going to do is just first let me put his pickups down. Well, his one pickup, you can see he's got his humbucker here. That's awesome. My wife sells stuffs, and somebody was happy to find something that she had. All right, I'm trying to make these humbuckers look right. Individual pull pieces go across the strings, so as long as I can keep those distanced correctly. Let's see. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put the string here because I know that he's on this one. I have an idea of what I want to do with what he's doing, or how to get these strings to vibrate. Let me see. 1 pull piece, 2 pull piece, 3 pull piece. Okay, that works. It's meant to be an illustration. Doesn't have to be exactly accurate. The string going there. He's just now sweeping. Although I don't want him to look like a noob and his pick is hitting both strings. Although when you do sweep, you do tend to do that. But in the way that this looks, you hit more than one string as long as you're muting them. That's fine. That's close enough. And I'm trying to say, what do call these right now? Pickup covers. They're pickup rings is what they're known as. Pickup rings, even though they're not actually rings. They're sort of rectangular things, which is what they're called. All right then. isn't too bad. Just trying to think about the way that this is positioned on this guitar from this angle. The neck, the fretboard rather, comes across the top right there. I'm just trying to darken this up a little bit. I'll take it in. Now, the frets. They're going to be a tedious thing. The fretboard tends to have a radius to it. It's not perfectly flat. If you don't know, you know. Now you know. And so too the frets. And I would know because I've actually done it more than once. Not necessarily this extreme that I'm doing right now, but okay. Illustration, right? I'm trying to make sure I keep the count right. Okay, so there's an inlay marker here. Yeah, this is a little wide. I'm like, she's bumping me when I'm trying to do this. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Are you doing something? Tough shit. I'm a cat. Pay attention to me. So the way this it's not extreme like this. It's usually a little bit flatter than what I've done. I'm just, I don't know, artistic liberties, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There should be another inlay dot here. And the frets get bigger the closer you get to the headstock, which, you know, the part where the tune pegs are. Tuner keys, whatever you want to call them. It's very extreme. I don't know why I'm making this so extreme looking, but this looks like this might be a 21 fret guitar. Usually a 24. It depends. I don't know what, I mean, this could be 19, 20, 21 or 21. Usually these are on odds. These inlay dots, they're on odd numbered frets. So this should be a 22. This should be 21, 22. That's the case. This would be 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13. Then the 12th fret has 2 dots. And on the 13th, usually, actually, see I did? That's why I was doing that. The 13th does not have a marker because there are 2 here. Depending on how your guitar is set up, they might, I mean, it's just an artistic thing. It really is. It's just to let you know this is an octave. Like I said, it's very extreme, and I went a little too hard on it, but that's okay. It's just an illustration, right? It's not an actual guitar, so we're good. I know that looks chicken scratchy, but it's because I'm trying to keep it on an arc. Raisins to my insanities. Okay, so you can't really see the neck on here. It's rolled behind. And then liberties and things. I think maybe on mine, we're going to say, I'll use this reference, but I'm going to put a horn on it. Okay, so I think maybe, let me get a different reference. It's funny, you stare at a guitar all the time. You would think you would know what one would look like from an angle like this, but I don't. Yeah, this angle, he's kind of covering the bridge and everything, so I'm going to use that and kind of work around it. So this would be a little bit more cut. Like I said, it doesn't have to be 100% accurate, but just trying to find that form, man. What am I doing? See, that's what I get for waking up and drawing. Kind of, right? The top horn tends to stick out more than the bottom one, but nah, it's not working. Oh, Lord, what am I doing? Why is the guitar so hard for me to draw? I suck, I just suck. All right, where is Mr. Guitar from that rough angle? I don't even know. I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. Diddly. All right, that one has to work. I'm just going up too high. That is an interesting carve. Man, can't even struggle with basic shapes now. Let's see. This carve should match this one. That's what I'm frustrated with. Stop kicking this damn thing. All right, I'm going to try something a little different. Okay, I'm going to round off this corner, give myself perspectives, and then kind of comes into this point, and just cut off. That's better. We can pull this. It's a little thin. Let me just, maybe it's a S body, I don't know. All right, so let's just pull that to there, thicken it up a little bit. An S body is an Ibanez guitar that is really thin, by the way. I don't know if that matters, but I told you. Yeah. Can design a guitar, can't draw one. It's freaking hilarious. Anyway, this carve up here could be a little bit steeper. Also, this tends to be sharper than this does for the carve. This is meant to be a belly carve, as it's called, or the boob carve, whatever, you know. There's an old meme that says like, oh, that's what that's for. It's a girl holding a guitar and her boobage is resting on it. Pretty funny to me because I'm a child. All musicians are children. Well, since I know what I know about guitar, I'm going to throw the bridge in here just as a hint, because the other humbucker you'd be able to see here underneath his hand, and the bridge would be right around in this area. So we're going to run with that. Maybe a hint of the other humbucker will do just fine. Here we go. There's a guy sweeping the guitar. What do you think? All right. This line here isn't going to be here, by the way. Let me erase that away before I forget and then draw it in there. I left it on the pad this time because it's just easier. It slides all over the place if I don't. So now I kind of want to use that blue to kind of mimic what my guitar looks like, and hopefully it'll pop against the black. Well, that's going to have to do. So the blue on my guitar is kind of all over the place. It's a poplar. It's a burl. It's a burl top. A burl top is just, it kind of looks sporadic. It looks like almost marble-like, and so I'm going to try to do that and see what happens. So first, we're going to start with this brilliant blue, because I can always go over it with black, you know. Start with blue. I'm going to wash it. Well, you actually know what? I'll wait to wash it off when I'm done. I'll leave the blue, oh no, I can just throw some wash in there. Never mind. Okay, so I'm gonna try to do. I actually might use that for these strings. I don't know yet. I'm gonna try the reservoir nib real quick for the blue. See how it works out. And ow, sharp. The pick is also orange, so I might use red just to have it be different. Oh, it's kind of settling a little bit. Let me shake it on up. All right, this stuff is a heated mess. Okay, I've never used this blue. Go for it. It's definitely more intense than writing blue. I'm kind of curious if I should just use the brush and not even to wash it out, just to throw some color on it. Throw the color on there a little faster. I mean, would have helped to grab a paper towel. Moment of tooth. This is cool to keep. This came with it. You know how they come in the store, the little plastic protector. Been using it just to keep the brushes from getting damaged. Seems to be helping. I'm gonna go straight ink. Oh, that's pretty. Very nice. It's a really, really pretty blue. You know, sometimes it looks nicer in the container than comes out, but this looks just like it. Sometimes you look at something and you're like, oh, that's kind of like pretty, and you put it on there and it's like, this looks pretty good. I wasn't really trying to go for anything special. I was just trying to mimic my guitar a little bit. The back of my guitar is actually a like a dark gray. It's really cool what they did with it. It's like a matte finish on the back of the neck. It's gray. It's like almost like I don't know why, but I always think of like a cemetery tone gray, like a dirty gray. It's super goth, man. Okay, it's really cool. There's black, like it's a sunburst kind of a thing, but it's really, really dark, so it's hard to tell. I think that's good. And then I will try to throw in some blacks in there. And like I said, the side and the back of the actual body is black, and then the guitar neck is gray. It's a really intense combination. Oh, and it's gray stained. It's not just painted gray, but you can't see that in this picture, so I'm not even going to bother worrying about anything to do with that, obviously. But there, I can blacken the outside there and then kind of like smooth it in. All right, now I'm going to go. I went ahead and rinsed this out, but there's still some blue in it, but not a big deal because I'm just gonna put this in here on the black. So starting with, there we go. I kind of just want to get this ink in here and then see if I can come back in and touch up the lines. And then around the outside, around the outside. I don't know, I'm going to have to kind of tighten that line up a little bit, but for the sake of what this is, then it has sporadic black in it, and I was just kind of going to do this. Yeah, that's more like how it looks. My guitar. It's really pretty blue, but it's very dark also. All right, now I'm going to do the outside too, and I'm going to see if it's going to be hard to do. I'm going to try to tighten that line up. I don't know that I can. When you take me out on a date? When are you taking me out on a date? No, it's your job taking me out on a date. I don't know. Why not? 21st century, that's why. Oh. What do you mean? Take you out on dates. Take you out on dates all the time. Actually, quite often the one who suggests where to go. Northern California, where's the girls are from? Well, very well. I'm probably going to come back in and tighten this up a little bit, but it's okay for now. That's the under layer. I have to let this dry for a little bit because there's a lot of ink on there, and then I shall come back and finish the rest. I may have to crack out the brush pen for blending some of this stuff, but I cleaned my brush. It's actually soaking still. I cleaned it 3 or 4 times. The colored inks seem to stay in that brush a lot longer. It really gets into the hairs of the brush. So I am going to wait on that. All right, and then I'm going to kind of wing a defined line here. I think this is the spoon nib. I'm going to try this one again. I just figured might as well use them interchangeably. I still have that black wash over there. I was going to use that possibly for this, but I just decided to go straight black, so it's fine. No worries. Not that you're going to be able to see that, but... Oh, this is the wash. Fool. I'm very thick. That explains things. If nothing else, it'll etch the line in there if nothing else, which is still visual indication. Yeah, that works. Like I said, at least it'll cut in a little bit, kind of etch into the paper. Kind of goo. That's going to be a pain in the ass to do, the strings, but I will get to that. Kind of learn where the paper gets stuck on the end of the nib like that. Kind of stops the ink from flowing. So just got to clean that up a little bit sometimes. Thumb got a little chunky. Is what it is. It's just a drawing, not the end of the world. I just started to work at some of this stuff on the inside here. Ow! Trying to smudges everywhere. I don't know what just happened there, but apparently I spilt ink just now. No biggie smalls. Well, I thought it was dry. Yeah. Oh, this one part is that, because I used that wash by accident, so it's still really wet. Okay. Not my most skillful inking process, but it has style. Just making sure I'm not carrying all this ink with me. Carrying your ink with me. Right? West Virginia down to Tennessee. Damn it, now it's stuck in my head. That's what I get for being funny. Now that's stuck in my head. For trying to be funny. I don't know what was funny, but I haven't figured out why my wife's even with me. She's pretty and she's smart and she's successful. She's like, cut it out, still, bud. I wasn't sure if I was going to keep those little screws in there or not, but I think I'll just hatch up the humbuckers a little bit. But the screws are black and kind of hard to see. So, I mean, the pickups could be arguably white, depending on what kind of pickups they are, kind of covers you have on them, that kind of stuff. But whatever. Guess it's more of a scribble than a hatch, but whatever. Oh well, I didn't mean for it to go that thick, but okay. Just leave the pole pieces there, I suppose. If you don't know, these little metal poles are what the copper coils wrap around, and they're part of the whole thing that creates the magnetic field and all that good stuff, because you know, coil wrapped around an iron core, so to speak. Whatever. I can always come back and hit that with a white, but I'm not thinking I'm going to do that. And these frets are just going to be solid lines. Try to get that ink flowing. It's kind of stuck in there. The hard thing about stuff like this is that instruments like this are precisioned, and so drawing them is usually going to look painterly in some way. Unless you just crack out, you know, a ruler and get meticulous about it. Well, that's done at least. A little bit too much paper on the nib. Okay, here comes the big moment of truth. It's okay, I don't perfectly get them because I'm going to try to do a little warble effect at the back. I'll have to work. Then I'm just going to kind of half-ass hatch this. Give it some contour a little bit. Trying to give it that wood look for the fretboard. And that's really just being stubborn. And the way the strings kind of vibrate, and when you see them in video, is it kind of looks like they're almost turning into a triangle. Like they almost have a triangular shape is what I'm trying to say. I think these inlays, I think I'm going to, you know what, screw it. I'm going to go negapossy. I'm going to blacken them out because I kind of cross them over a little bit, but also they kind of blend in too much. I don't hate that too much. Now, the only other thing I'm thinking is I kind of want to wash the neck. The neck looks a little, I think it needs some color almost. A little too bright, a little too white, I think. So I'm going to see if I can do that without completely screwing up. This brush actually has the tiniest bit of water on it, so I'm going to see if I can just like, the beauty of recording is if I completely screw up, I have it on video when it used to look okay. Like I said, I'm not too worried about it though, man. The whole point is to experiment and have fun. At least that's what I think. Just do stuffs, get out of your comfort zone, sort of thing. There, now he's not stark white against the background. Like, I mean, it was just too bright. The background's cool, but for me, but not so bright. There you go. I'm really beating this brush up. I don't care. It's what I bought for. There, now he has some life to his hand. And now the pick is white. Kind of stands out. That's kind of cool. Kind of gritty to me anyway. You might hate it. If you do, I'm sorry. Whatever, it was fun. I'm trying to refine the edge of this one real quick, but that's all right. Not going for perfection. Just tighten up a couple lines, and with that, I do believe I'm done. I like the pick being white against the thing. You can't really see the strings going across. That's okay. And there we have it. And that'll conclude this session of InkTober. And if you made it this far, I really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you in the next one.